We are at Atmosphere conference and we have Jamie Winsor again this year at our conference. Hello, Jamie.
Hey, how are you, Janusz?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm great.
No technical issues this time with flight?
No, not this time. This time, very easy. Couple flights to get here, and had a lot of sleep this time, and a much better experience.
Okay, so how do you like the conference, the atmosphere?
Oh, it's great. This is the second year here. This time it's in Krakow instead of Warsaw. I love the area. I love the conference. I love the people. We had some really great talks just today. Really looking forward to tomorrow. It really seems like people have a better understanding of DevOps and just better development practices this year around. Yeah.
It's all thanks to your talk also. Your talk was today. Your talk was about how Undead Labs, because you are from the Undead Labs, how you use Chef, Elixir, and other tools, so you can DevOps more in this DevOps.
Yeah. So the talk that I gave today is kind of broken into two parts. The beginning half of it is a lot about the culture and the story about how Undead was formed, their very early years, covered pretty quick. But basically when I joined and how the last 2 years has gone, how we hired and grew from, say, a 20-man company to mid-50s or so. And then the next part is about the practices that we use, the tools that we use, and then an overview of what our back-end systems actually look like and how the services talk to each other. Yeah.
In Undead Labs, as far as I know, you have no sysadmins, no operations.
Yeah, that's right. So at Undead, we have no operations staff at all. Instead, we have somewhere near 12 to 15 engineers who focus on developing both applications and tools and implementing Chef, implementing Terraform, making sure that applications are developed with it in mind that we're not going to have an operational staff, so using console for automatic service discovery and things like that. But as right now, we're trying to stay small, stay development focused, and we try to get as much as we can done with just engineering efforts.
And speaking of something done, next week you're having the early access. You publish your game to some of the users.
That's right.
Over the internet. Tell me more about it.
Yeah, so just at the end of May here, either a week and a half or so, we're expecting to go into early access with our new game called Moonrise, which is our first online game. It's going to be available for PC and Mac initially on Steam, and later on through the year we'll be releasing globally on iOS and Android as well, and all the platforms can play against each other, and it's all built and maintained by our engineers and powered by Chef and other great open source tools.
Mm-hmm. You are definitely a DevOps, and you are speaking today about the DevOps tools you're using. Can you tell us what parts of the game you are creating to show that using tools is not everything? You have to use them somehow.
Well, it's not a feature in the game that you can really see that was influenced. What instead you can see is the iteration that we go through and how little time we were able to create a larger scale game with as few employees as we have. Specifically, I've worked on our chat server, our authentication mechanisms, up to the client too. Like I actually implemented a large portion of the chat windows, and our engineers really try to work in complete vertical slices. We work from the client all the way through the various levels of the servers, and then we deploy our own software and we provision our own machines. We really have embraced the DevOps ideology or development methodology fully at Undead Labs, and I'm extremely proud of our company for it.
Yeah. Developing a game is a long process, right? Mm-hmm. How long does it take? You have a new game every 3 years, right?
That's a good number. It depends if it's a single player or multiplayer game and how big it is. At Undead, development started in 2009 for State of Decay. That was our first game. It's a zombie survival game on Xbox Live 360, Xbox Live Arcade on the Xbox 360, and it was released in June of 2013. So it was about a 4-year development cycle on that. And Moonrise has been in development for almost about 2 years now, going into early access, and it's a pretty large online multiplayer game. It's mainly focused around competitive PvP, which means that there's not as much time with a large content pipeline that you have to create a lot of single-player content or anything like that. But for a massively multiplayer online game, you could be looking at somewhere near like a 5-year schedule. So while Moonrise is a little bit smaller, it's still a large game. It is arguably larger than State of Decay was, and it only took about 2 years to develop. That's also a little less fair because State of Decay 1 was developed with 20 people, and Moonrise had had more.
But when you publish the game, you also have to maintain it. You have to continuously update it. So it's a lot of work, and this is, I think, where continuous delivery is the most important part, right?
Absolutely. So when you're creating a single-player game, normally what you do is you create the game and you make sure there's no game-breaking bugs in it. You release it, and it goes into something called Gold Master. So that's basically, there's no more changes that are going to happen in this game, and it goes out to the publisher, and they stamp the discs, and it goes out to GameStop and other various retailers. And then now, at least within the last 10 years, there's Xbox Live and the PlayStation Network, and or if it's a Steam game, right, you can update your game after it's been released. And we'll often create patches for any massive bugs. But typically, after you create a single-player game, you're also maybe working on downloadable content for it, or some sort of extra content, or a sequel or another game. But when you're working with an online multiplayer game, especially if it's a free game like Moonrise is, you have to continually be creating content. And because it's a multiplayer, players are all connected to servers, and those need to be maintained as well. And it's not just the client anymore. Now it's the client speaking to the servers, various levels of servers, and you have to keep those up to date and pushing out updates. And you may have a feature in the client that requires a server update, so you have to orchestrate those things. Being a development-focused studio, operating a live game means that you have to create a lot of monitoring tools. You have to create robust software that can fail, and you have to be creating things in mind that you want to deploy fast and you want to deploy often in case something bad happens, or in case you have to fix something on a Friday afternoon. That's very important to say, like the game economy, right?
That's something I guess you were telling us last year at the conference.
I can't recall, but I do talk about that often because I have battle scars from it. A bad exploit happens and you need to immediately fix it. And if it's a Friday afternoon, the game's really important to you, and you really just got to do it. And the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Yep. So there's a lot of work ahead.
Yeah, there's still a lot of work to do.
Okay, we're looking forward to your early access and a new game, and we keep fingers crossed. So good luck.
Thank you very much.
Jamie Winsor was our guest at Atmosphere conference, second time. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thanks for having me.